So I'm here today with an old friend, Eileen Pugh, who has just completed the program in modern spirituality, which has been in person in the Sanctuary Centre in Dublin and online. Good morning, Eileen. How are you today?
Good morning, John. I'm good.
So, Eileen, how do we know each other, or what brought you to do the program?
How we know each other goes back 25 years, I think now. Um, so we have a history. Um, and I've done a number of courses with you, John, and retreats and worked with you. And I just like I love how you facilitate. And I feel very safe. What brought me to do the course is I it just grabbed me. It was like a magnet. Um, it wasn't overly heady or inaccessible. So I jumped out. I thought, wow, if I can do 4 weekends over the year, that will keep me in check. And I loved the idea that there was the online then after the in-person. I don't even remember looking really at the content, to be honest. Um, I obviously liked whatever the headlines were, but it was the idea of attending over a year that was really important for me because I find a lot of things that I do might just be a morning or a day, whereas that nourishment over a year and building a community with a group and a connection is very different. Honestly, if you do year two, I'd be on it. And I would love to see you develop a year two.
Sure.
Um, yeah, so I suppose, from past experience, and it very much came to be was that this is a really healthy spirituality, that it embraces all of our bits. And there's no resistance to, there's no part that isn't welcome to the table. And I think because that's so integrated, it's very powerful.
Well, some people, I mean, the topic obviously is modern spirituality. Some people might think spirituality can be a bit wishy-washy. What was your experience of the program in that?
Mine would mine would be forget all the terminology, um, and uh, it's very much for me. It was a journey inwards and outwards. Um, it was about being connected to all that was going on within me, but also outwards, all how that was impacting me connecting with all that's around me. Um, whether that be a butterfly or a bee or human relationships or taking responsibility and owning my stuff. Um, and it's like, well, for me, I think when you attend to it and love it, uh, should I dare use the bitch word? But when you love your bitch, you actually are a lot less bitchy. That's a very simple way of putting it. It's like being aware of that side. I don't like who I am in certain situations. But if I'm aware of that, it loses its power,
So
or
doing
it
the deeper,
transforms it.
yeah,
Hmm?
doing the deeper shadow work.
Yeah.
And and did it allow you to embrace more of your spiritual self? I mean, or like, in terms of what did that do for you then? Obviously, you're embracing more the parts of yourself that are in the basement, so to speak. But what did that do for you from a spiritual perspective?
I just felt it was a greater acceptance. I've been studying spirituality for years. I'm trying to live spiritually. Um, but it brought so many different traditions together. It was and I've dipped into things, but it just allows a great freedom to go for what works for you,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, whether it's be still and know that I am God, or it's breath, or just pausing, that reflective um sense. And the obviously the material is very it's stimulating, so it brings you on a journey.
Yeah.
And they're that's material I wouldn't find myself.
Yeah.
Um, I can go searching, but it's great when someone else has done the search. You know,
And and then in terms of like, the the workshops and the classes and so on in the program, like how would you describe them? Were they academic? Were there, experiential? How would you describe them?
I would describe them as theory in action, but if you weren't thinking theoretically, you wouldn't have to.
Hmm.
So that's a choice. Um, Very experiential, really life-giving. I just found every weekend very engaging, and I had no idea what to expect. So I was an open book. I'm like, right, bring it off. And I would probably never forget the first weekend, and I'm not going to say what it was because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But that for me was really, really powerful, and it was a weekend that can't be. Maybe it was the second weekend. I can't remember.
It was the second one. Yeah. Yeah.
Second weekend, yeah. Um, yeah, I just felt I was immersed into something more powerfully than ever. Um, and really face to face. So even now, I'm sitting last Sunday, I think I was in some cafe and I was looking at the window, people watching, and I was so clear on, I don't know how many more Julys I have. And how do I want to live this July? And how do I want to live this day? It was, or this hour, whatever. It was very much about um, decision making and choice.
Yeah.
Everything's a choice. And I loved the anchor of it. I just loved it. I found that anchoring, I'm a bit like a boat that's gone all over the place because I don't belong to any real
Mhm.
and this just it just was exactly what I need. Um because it allowed for the spiritual, the psychological, the emotional, the physical. It was all of it. It's so integrated where I find a lot of stuff can be very wishy-washy. I found this really grounded in living and yeah, I just loved it. I loved it. I loved the feeling that, I have that motto of the sunflower, be like a sunflower and face the light. And it does transform your shadows, but it's not leaving them, it's not neglecting them. It's bringing them into the light and transforming. So yeah, it was just wonderful.
Thanks, Eileen. Would you So would you recommend the program to who would you recommend it to, or would you recommend it?
I would highly recommend it. The earlier, the younger, the better. To shake off some of the ideas and damage that gets done culturally. I think it's incredibly cheap, eye-opening, revealing. I think people who engage with it well won't forget it. You know, it's life changing. For me, it brought together a whole load of things. And I don't, you know, unless you're really rigid, but even if you're really rigid and you want to move, you know, you'd be accepted in your rigidity and let move if you want to move. You don't have, no one's pushing you to do anything. But I think that's part of the beauty of it. You loved where you were. And it's, let's see where we're going. It's a human. Um, so all those interactions and breaking down barriers just increases the connection that we're not alone. And a very strong sense of a spiritual in a body. And I love the field. You know, you can look out at your garden and the blades of grass and they all talk to each other and what's going on underneath, and they're all talking to each other. But yeah, it'll stay with me, and I really do hope you do a year too.
Great. Well, Eileen, thank you so much for coming on today and giving your feedback on the program. Our next program is starting in October, coming up soon. So I really appreciate that today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John.